Hello everybody, my name is Signa, and I'm a speedrunner from the Devil May Cry series. And this is the first video in the tutorial that I have been wanting to do for a long time already. And this will be DMC4, a new game, Demon Hunter Vergil tutorial for the speedrun. As of right now, these are the basic mechanics that we have for the blue guy himself. So I'm gonna go a little bit over them, explain how they're used on the speedrun, and as we move forward, we're gonna have a little bit more of tutorial on and a little bit more of in-depth on each mission. Right now, I'm using a New Game Plus file just for me to explain all the mechanics, and we're gonna go a little by little with them. First of all, Vergil is a character that starts with a really cool moveset and gear already, basically everything that you need to beat the game. First thing is that you start with the Yamato sword that can cut through time and space, which is going to be basically our main focus for damage that is for non-bosses. I'm going to explain that a little bit later on. Now, Vergil has the Force Edge, which is a sword that he uses Devil May Cry 3 to fight Dante at the very end, and Dante keeps it. This is never going to be used for combat itself, even though it has really good moves. It's going to be used mainly for movement. Basically, the difference with this is that instead of like in Devil May Cry 3, where you have a stinger in the ground with Dante and you use that for movement, Vergil can use a stinger in the air. So I'm going to get into that a little bit later on, but this is going to be used a little bit for movement. Other weapon that we have is Beowulf, which is the gauntlets, basically. My favorite weapon in the series, to be fair. It's gonna be used mainly for boss fights, and as well for a little bit of extra damage and double trigger regeneration. As well, it is gonna be used for the dive kick whenever we're gonna go ahead and have to move in a really fast way downwards, same as the Force Edge with a Helm Breaker. Now, the other weapons that we have, as I was mentioning, was the Yamato, the main weapon that we're going to use. The Yamato itself is going to be used for two moves mainly. First one is Rapid Slash, which is the first upgrade that we always buy, and it's going to be made, like you can do it by pressing target, forward, and melee attack. Right now I'm using a PS5 controller, so I'm going to be pressing triangle for that. And that is going to be our main damage attack. So as you can see, it has a really nice horizontal movement, and it has a little bit of an AoE effect. So if you go through several enemies, you're going to be able to hit them all at the same time and deal a good amount of damage. As well, it's pretty fast, and Vergil has some iframes while doing it, so he's not going to receive any kind of damage. Now, this is very important. If you want to make a speedrun of the game, you're gonna have to run your game at 60 FPS. As you can see here on my mouse, you can see the 60 FPS. This is gonna make the Rapid Slash to last a little bit longer, so the distance covered by it is gonna be a lot bigger, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you to traverse distances and as well cover a better area of it. Other attacks that we're gonna use with Yamato, which is gonna be mainly for movement, is gonna be Aerial Raid B. Aerial Raid B is one of our ways of gaining height, which is going to be performed in the following way. Just jump, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2. If you go too fast, you're going to get that. We're going to go 1, 2, pause, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we combine it with a launcher and we switch weapons faster and a trick, Vergil can gain insane amounts of height, which we're going to use later on for some skips on the game. We have a little bit of out of bounds in this game, and we're going to use that to abuse it, basically. Now, another way of doing damage with Vergil is Judgment Cut. Judgment Cut is going to be part of Vergil's bread and butter. It's going to be combined with Rapid Slash for extra damage. Now, Judgment Cuts itself are a little bit hard to do at the beginning, but after a while you get used to them. The way you're doing is that after every single attack that you do with the Yamato, what's going to happen is that if you press and hold the same button, Vergil is going to charge the sword. This is called a regular Judgment Cut. You can do it out of every single attack that Vergil does with the Yamato. Doesn't matter which one it is. As you can see, with the launcher, we can do it. It doesn't matter what you do with it. Now, that what you see right there is what is called a regular judgment cut, which is just pressing and holding, see that the sword is shining, and you release it. It has a slow animation and the damage is not that good. But if you go and release on a specific frame, you get what's called a just judgment cut. Just judgment cut deals a lot more of damage than what a regular judgment cut does, and as well, it's faster. It skips a little bit of animations. Unfortunately, there's no easy way for you to get explain how this works. As of right now, the way that I use it is that I just search for a timing in the animation. Whenever I see Vergil's sword hit at the very end, that's when I release. Like, it moves a little bit forward. When I see that animation, I go for it. Now, as well, you can do it out of every single attack, as long as you time it properly. The bread and butter the Vergil is gonna do for damage is gonna be rapid slash into just judgment cut. As you can see, if we go properly, we skip that animation and we deal a lot more DPS. So that is going to be our main way of dealing damage with every kind of enemy that we see in the game. As well, the other things that Vergil has is basically our swords. Some swords are going to be one of our sources of damage, but it's not going to be used with regular swords. It's going to be mainly used with the special effects that we have, which will going to be blistering swords and heavy rain swords. The regular sword, instead of guns that we're going to use, is going to be used in Mission 4 for the gyros mainly, but that's it. As well, something really cool is that while you are doing inputs, you can keep spamming the swords. However, Vergil's DPS is already so high that you don't actually need it. So it's going to make your life a lot more difficult. Just judgment cuts are enough for you to take care of anything. Now, other things to take in account is basically Vergil's extra effects. First thing that you'll notice is that we have this big blue bar that I'm highlighting with my mouse. This is called the concentration bar. The concentration is gonna make Vergil a little bit stronger as we go. How does it work? It's pretty simple. The devs wanted you to play as Vergil will be moving and being during the game. So it's gonna be precise movement, not getting hit, and as well not wasting time. So the way that you charge it is pretty simple. You have to stand next to enemies, dodge them, or just try to avoid any kind of attack, and it's gonna continue to charge. Concentration has 3 levels. Level 1, it's gonna be when it hits the mark over here, just at the end of the circle. Level 2 is gonna be this other marker, and that will be it. 0 is when we don't have it. If you get hit, you automatically lose all of your concentration. So that is why Vergil is called a momentum character, mainly because Vergil loses momentum at the moment that he gets hit, and he has to stop for a moment to charge concentration. Now, what does concentration do? Concentration is gonna make Vergil to go and deal a lot more of the damage that he should. So it is a lot more worth it to just wait a moment to charge concentration, and after you charge your concentration, you just go ahead and start doing the battle. As well, concentration is gonna give you extra attacks. For example, Beowulf, if you charge a hit, is gonna have a triple hit. Third charge is gonna be the most important one because it's the one that we want to use for most damage. You can only do that when you have level 2 concentration. We can also go for Dragon Breaker, and that extra damage is gonna be done only with the concentration. As well, part of the run is gonna have Judgment Cutting. Judgment Cutting is gonna do a lot of damage and it's an AoE attack. I'm not gonna do it right here because it's gonna waste my double trigger. I'm gonna use it a little bit later on. However, if we go with it, we need to have full concentration. If we don't have level 3 concentration, the move is never gonna come out. The run itself has already mapped a lot of places and times where we're gonna have to stand still and charge our concentration. These have been found as the most optimal position for that. So that's basically what we do. We charge concentration at the beginning of each mission, and then we start continuing. Well, we continue to do battle, and if we lose it, it's already scripted that we lose it, and we already know where and when are going to charge it again. Now, if you get hit in the middle of a battle, it's gonna be a little bit scuffed, honestly, but in the end, you can always charge it a little bit. It's a little bit of investment that you have to do. However, there are a little bit of there are some enemies that you're not gonna be able to charge concentration to them, and you're just gonna go raw damage on them. Basically because they're so aggressive that if you stand still for a moment to charge concentration, you're just gonna get hit, and you're gonna become a punching bag, and that never works. So, a good example of how we're gonna do a little bit of battle here, I'm gonna go with the first battle that we have after the start of Mission 2. We have a skip that we can do this, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna go with the battle itself to show you how it works. As you can see, concentration is charging, and if I get hit, I lose all my concentration. So I have to stand close to the enemies, and concentration will be charged again. And this is basically how it do. Vergil deletes enemies in the game. So all of our battles are gonna be rapid slash into judgment cuts. Basically, those are all the basics that Vergil has. So as of right now, we do have a lot more that we can explain, but I'm gonna go into details a little bit later as we go. Now, the other moves that I was mentioning as well are the swords special moves, which are blistering swords, which is gonna be swords that are launched to enemies. We want to use them a little bit onwards as the round goes. We want to use them as well with some bosses, and bosses are going to be killed with the triple hit that I was mentioning, and as well with Lunar Face, which is commonly known as the washing machine. Basically, as I was mentioning, this is the basics for Vergil. I hope that everybody that was watching this learned something. I'm gonna continue going with more of this tutorial as we move forward. Probably gonna do it live on my stream. If not, I'm just going to do it myself. So thanks a lot everybody for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to have more Vergil content, I usually try to stream on Twitch at least 2 or 3 times a week. Try to make it a little bit more. I run Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5, and I'm gonna start learning a new game soon. So if you want a little bit of more Vergil content, feel free to drop by, leave a like, a sub, and yeah, that'll be it. Thanks a lot everybody, have a nice one, and I hope that you enjoy Vergil.